They say in Tarkov, you are either the hammer or the nail. You are the hunter or the meat. But there is one man who refused to be either. A man who looked at the apocalypse, at the collapse of civilization, and didn't see the end of the world. He saw a business opportunity. And he isn't a soldier. He certainly isn't a warrior. He is a survivor of the worst kind. A parasite who dressed himself in the robes of a king. For the locals, he is Reshala, the Dealmaker. Today, we are walking into the heart of customs to tell the story of the man who rules the ruins. The man who hides while his brothers die. This is the dark truth of Reshala. To understand the monster, you have to understand the man he was before the walls went up. Reshala wasn't military. You could tell by the way he holds a gun. Loose, arrogant, and he doesn't move with the discipline of a USEC or the grit of a bear. And lore confirms before the contract wars turned Tarkov into a slaughterhouse, Reshala was a fixer, a local criminal entrepreneur. He ran rackets, organised smuggling rings, and greased palms. He was the guy you went to when you needed something moved, or someone silenced, but you didn't want to get your own hands dirty. So when the city fell, when the UN locked the gates and the corporations abandoned us, most men panicked. Reshala didn't. He realised that in a lawless world, the man who controls the flow of goods is God. And he staked his claim on customs. Why? Well, because customs is the artery of Tarkov. Everything passes through here. If you want to move from the port to the factory, you go through him. He didn't conquer this land with firepower. He bought it with leverage. But a king needs an army. And this is where the story gets truly dark. Look at his guards. You know them. You've seen the name on their dog tags. Zavodskoy. Every single one of his personal guards shares this surname. But they aren't brothers by blood. In Russian, Zavodskoy roughly translates to from the factory. And these men were likely the blue-collar workers, the security guards, or the police units assigned to the Polychem chemical plant and the industrial zones. Honest men. Perhaps hard men. But when the world ended, they looked for a leader. They found Reshala. And he took these desperate men. He fed them, armed them with top-tier ADARs and AKs, and gave them a new purpose. He branded them with a new name, and they became his family. But notice the dynamic. When the bullets start flying, what does Killer do? Killer charges you. Tagilla hunts you with a hammer. And what does Reshala do? He runs. He hides in the bathrooms of the dorms. He hides behind the barrels at the gas station. And he treats the Zavodskoys not as brothers, but as human shields. They die screaming his name, protecting a man who views them as inventory. And that is the tragedy of the Zavodskoy name. So we're going to get into the mystery of the golden TT in just a second. And trust me, it's not what you think. But first, if you love deep dives into the dark hidden lore of gaming's grittiest worlds, do me a favour. Consider hitting that subscribe button. We're decoding Tarkov one story at a time. I really don't want you to miss the next one. But now, the pistol. Golden TT. In a world where an AK-74 is worth more than a human life, why carry a gold-plated relic? It's not tactical. It holds only a few rounds. and it jams. Well, it's a symbol. Look at Jaeger, the master woodsman. He despises Reshala. You only have to see in his quest text. He calls Reshala a coward and demands that you bring him that pistol as proof that the rat is dead. So the golden TT represents Reshala's delusion. He believes he is above the grime of Tarkov. He wears his brown jacket. No helmet. No body armor. He thinks he is untouchable. He thinks he's a mob boss in his own movie. But the reality, that gold pistol is just painted lead. It's a desperate attempt to maintain status in a world that no longer cares about wealth. It is the crown of a king who rules over a kingdom of rubble. And that's why we hunt him. Not just for loot, but to break the illusion. So we've all been there. You're moving through new gas, or you're checking the marked room in 3-story dorms, and you think you're alone. But then you hear the slide of boots. You hear the grenade pin being pulled. Fighting Reshala is different from fighting other bosses. You aren't fighting one super soldier. You are fighting a squad that operates with a hive mentality. The Zavodskoys push you, they flank. They suppress. And when you finally cut through the meat shields, there he is. Cornered. Alone. There is something pathetic about him in those final moments. Without his boys, he has nothing. He usually sits in a corner waiting for the end to come. And when you pull that trigger, you aren't killing a warrior. You're putting down a rabid dog that convinced the pack it was a wolf. So where does Reshala fit in the grand canon of Escape from Tarkov? He is the gatekeeper. He isn't part of the terror group conspiracy like Sanatar. He isn't military brutalism like Glukhar. Reshala represents the corruption of the old world bleeding into the new. He is the petty criminal who got lucky. He proves that in Tarkov, evil doesn't always look like a soldier in heavy armor. Sometimes, evil is just a man in a brown jacket who is willing to let everybody else die so that he can live. He is the Lord of Customs. But when we think about it, he's also a prisoner there. He can never leave. He defends his pile of rubble because it's the only place left where he matters. So Tarkov is full of tragedies. Fathers who never come home. Soldiers who forgot what they were fighting for. But Reshala, his story isn't a tragedy. It's a warning. It's a warning that loyalty to the wrong person will get you killed. It's a warning that all the gold in the world won't stop a 5.45 round. So the next time you see that brown jacket, the next time you see the glint of gold in the dark, don't hesitate. Take the shot. End the deal. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the lore of Reshala, let me know in the comments who is the most tragic figure in Tarkov. Is it Killer? Is it the cultists? Tell me who we should profile next. And don't forget to like the video. It helps the channel survive the algorithm. And subscribe for more stories from the darkest parts of gaming. This is XB. I'm signing off. Good luck in your raids out there. Take it easy.